Today's session is focused on our International Foundation Program. So I'm going to talk a little bit more today about our foundation program and also talk a little bit broadly about other foundation programs and how ours might be different and some of the advantages of studying a foundation program with us. The webinar session will be about 30 minutes long, so hopefully not too long. And hopefully, like I say, we'll answer your questions. But if you do have any additional questions, do feel free to just pop them in the chat or the Q&A. Like I say, my name's John Menzies, and I'm the head of marketing for the Abbey DLD group of colleges. And we're going to talk a little bit about the International Foundation Program today. Okay, let me see if I can change the slides. There we go. Excellent. Always good when that works. Before we get into talking specifically about the foundation program, obviously I am a representative of the Abbey DLD group of colleges, so I just thought I'd give you a very, very quick overview of our colleges. Obviously, we are 3 independent day and boarding schools. Abbey College, Cambridge, obviously located in the heart of Cambridge, DLD College, London, just across from the Houses of Parliament, right in the centre of London, on the south bank of London, on the River Thames, and also Abbey College, Manchester, which is located again right in the heart of Abbey College, Manchester. All 3 of our colleges offer a range of courses, and we welcome students from around the world every year. We do have British students studying with us as well, but we do also specialise in teaching international students. So that is really one of the areas of specialty for our schools. You can see a bit more information about each of the colleges there. I won't read through all the bullet points, but you get the idea. Each one has its own strengths, each one has its own personalities, but we are part of that wider group. So we have that quality across the board. You can find a little bit more information about each of the colleges by visiting our website, or we'll get in touch with you after the session. And please do feel free to ask us any questions that you might have about living and studying in our colleges. Okay, so let's get on to the main topic of today, which is our foundation program. So here at Abbey DLD Group of Colleges, we call it the International Foundation Program, and we abbreviate that to IFP. So you can see I've got the IFP there. So if I do mention IFP, you'll know that I'm talking about the Broad Foundation Program. So what is it, first and foremost? Well, it's a level 3 qualification, which means that it's comparable to A-levels. Essentially, our foundation program is the equivalent to the final year of A-levels, which is a year 13 program. Whereas A-levels, we could broadly say they are subject-based, so you'll study a number of subjects. The International Foundation Program is a pathway-based course. It offers international students, and it's only for international students, a pathway to a range of UK universities. So students will come in, take the foundation program as a fast-track 1-year program, and then at the end of that, they will progress to a range of UK universities. Our Manchester College does offer slightly longer duration, so they have a 2-year and an 18-month foundation programs if students don't quite have the academic or the English level requirements to come into the 1-year program, because it is quite intense. But for most of our students, they're coming into that 1-year program and they're moving on to university at the end of that first year. So students do tend to be a little bit older than they would come into for A-level. So the minimum age for our foundation program is 17 years, and the maximum age, but it is a bit later, is up to 21 years. The program is designed and created by our colleges, by the teams within our colleges, but it is accredited by the NCFE, which is a government-regulated accrediting body. So it's the Northern Consortium of Further Education, if you want to know what that NCFE stands for, and you can go on their website and find a bit more information. So although it's created in the colleges, the content is assessed and regulated by the NCFE and essentially by the UK government as well through that program. So you have that quality mark to know that it is up to the right standard, and you have that benchmark that everything is set to. And again, like I say, students come on the foundation program and they will progress to a wide range of UK universities at the end of that. I'll talk about progression to universities in a little bit. So before I start going into depth on the foundation, our foundation, I think it's probably worth talking about different types of foundation that you might hear about as well. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about multiple types of foundation, but I think they can broadly be categorized into these 2 groups that you see on the screen here. So you have the university-based foundation programs, where you're taking the foundation in the university that you intend to progress to. And then we have foundation programs that are based in a school or a college environment, and then you are progressing on to university at the end of that program. Obviously, Our foundation program would be in the latter of those two categories. Interestingly, one of the games I like to play whenever I'm researching anything is I like to ask ChatGPT to give me an image of anything I'm looking at. So you can see this is ChatGPT or AI's interpretation of a university-based foundation program on the left there, with the students working away. I'm not quite sure what they're all looking at, but you can see the students working away there. And essentially, when I asked it to give me a typical image from a school-based foundation, it's kind of the same image, but they just turned it into a cartoon, which I think is quite funny. But you can see it's essentially the same thing, and I've got no idea what's going on with all the desks there. But I think there's a little bit more complexity in the differences, so I'll go through those for you. Let's talk about a university-based foundation program. So you might hear these called on-campus programs. Obviously, in-college programs, they'll often be advertised by a particular university. They might be run by another organization on behalf of that university, but broadly they have the same characteristics. And those would be that they offer progression to the university that you're in. You might hear the term guaranteed progression when it's related to a particular university-based foundation program. What that essentially means that provided you achieve the qualifying grades and requirements in that foundation year, you are guaranteed progression onto an undergraduate program at the university you're in. Okay, so although it says guaranteed progression, there are some caveats on there. You have to achieve a certain academic and English standard through your course. But if you do that, you will get a place at that university on the undergraduate course of your choice. So that reduces the uncertainty in that you are based in the school, in the university that you want to study, and provided that you achieve the grades, you know that you are going to have a place next year to study in that university. Hello, Fatima. You can ask any questions through the chat and Q&A if you'd like. So please do feel free to pop a question in there and I'll try and answer it for you as well. So it has that reduced uncertainty. It reduces the uncertainty or increases the certainty that you know you're guaranteed that place, provided you achieve the academic requirements. Broadly speaking, the content that you're going to be studying on that university-based foundation should be aligned with the content that they're going to need for you to study in that first year of your undergraduate program. So there should be a relatively easy or seamless step up into that undergraduate program because you've been focused on the content and the skills that you need to move on to that university undergraduate program. Obviously, you are in the school, you're in the university, so you have access to the campus facilities. You'll be living in their boarding or boarding very close to the university, and you'll be able to integrate into student life. So you'll have access to the facilities. You'll be with those undergraduate students essentially and studying in the same buildings, even though you might be slightly segregated in certain ways because you might be a little bit younger than the average age for the students who are on the undergraduate program. So that's the University Foundation Program. The slight differences with our school-based programs such as ours would be obviously for us here at Abbey DLD, we don't partner with any particular university in a formal way. We offer a flexible range of university choices. So our team will work very closely with admissions tutors from a wide range of UK universities, and every year we will make decisions in terms of which undergraduate courses at which universities our students can access based upon the overall score that they achieve in that foundation program. So that means you have more flexible choice. So you can apply to a wider range of UK universities. You're not attached to a particular university that you must progress to. So you can pick and choose universities. It's more accessible for entry, which means that often for international students coming in, they have to hit a certain bar for a university. Whereas if you study in school, you can be slightly lower and we can do a little bit more work to bring you up. We can offer more extensive English language support, for example, to help you get up. So sometimes the bar can be a little bit lower to get into a foundation program in a school or in a college than it would be to go into an on-campus foundation program. Generally speaking, the class sizes in schools are smaller and you would get more personalization in that learning. What that means is more one-to-one time, more access to a teacher because the classes are smaller. And that's certainly the case in the Abbey DLD group of colleges where the average class size for us is around 10 students. So you can see you're going to get a lot of time, a lot of interaction with teachers and fellow students. Whereas in an on-campus program, the class size might be a little bit bigger, say between 20 and 30 students. So again, by the nature of that, you're going to have a little bit less day-to-day access with your tutors. A very, very strong pastoral focus in schools. This is our job. We teach students from the ages of, say, 13 all the way up. So we are used to welcoming, integrating, and supporting international students into our school environments. And we have a wider range of wraparound care for students as well. So that is pastoral support for our house parent system, through our house system, but also in terms of the clubs, the activities, the extracurricular programs that we have in place. So generally speaking, schools are able to offer a wider range of pastoral support, which can be important when you're leaving your country for the first time and looking to come and study in a completely new country. It's good to know that you have that pastoral support there. Thank you, Fatima. I'm glad I answered your question, but I'll do feel free to answer any more. I'll just mark that we've done it. Perfect. And like I say, it's a peer-focused community. So, in a university, what I mean by that is that in a university setting, you will be in an environment with older students, a range of ages up to mature students to PhD to postgraduate students. Whereas in a school, generally, you'll be in a peer-focused community with other students of the same age who are on the same stage of the journey. And that will be day in, day out. Schools often also are, like ours, are also able to offer multiple intakes. So I talked about the 1-year program, but also we do have a January intake in our Manchester college as well, if it doesn't quite fit. Okay. So just to give you a bit of an overview of some of the pathways that are available here at the Abbey DLD group of colleges for our foundation program, you can see across all 3 colleges, we offer quite a wide range of programs. In terms of our business provision, you can see there I've only had 1 entry, but we actually offer 3 different business courses depending on the combination of subjects that you want to study. We offer a very popular engineering foundation program. We have things like humanities, creative arts programs. We even do a sport program at Abbey College Manchester, which has a sport program where you can actually play to a high level and train to a high level in certain sports, but you can also study sport as part of that foundation program. So across all 3 colleges, we offer a wide range of programs. Our most popular foundation programs, such as the business foundation programs, the engineering foundation programs, and a science or biomedical science program, are available at all 3 colleges. So you have that choice between the different locations, and then each college specializes in a slightly different area. So have a look and see which foundation program feels right for you, and you can look at the college and the college environment that it provides. Okay. So just to give you an idea of the structure, so when we talk about the foundation program that we have, we talk about a modular structure. So what that means is in each term, so there's 3 terms of the 1-year foundation program, you'll study 4 main modules. Okay, so in term 1, you'll study those modules. In term 2, you'll study the same modules. And in term 3, you'll study the same modules again. As you move through the terms and through the course, the module content will increase in depth and complexity. So obviously the term 1 modules will be slightly less deep and slightly less complex than the term 3 modules, or the content might be slightly different. So we chunk the course up into those 3 terms and then into the smaller modules as well. In each of the colleges, we also have what we would call a core skills or a key skills module as well. So that is also designed to essentially help your study skills. And there'll also be, as part of that, a level of preparation for the undergraduate course you intend to go on to at university. So things like the pre-degree diploma in Cambridge are designed to enhance your knowledge in that undergraduate subject area and to build your skills ready for taking that place on the undergraduate course as well. So you study your modules, and you will also have some additional preparation classes in key skills, so study skills, essay writing skills, academic skills, but also in university preparation as well. Students will also have additional English language lessons. Okay, so they'll have English language lessons alongside the modules that they're studying as part of their course. And you can see the example there I've given for a business course. You'd have your business studies, economics, accounting, and mathematics modules. But you'd also be studying a standalone English program, which is designed to improve your English to the level you need to achieve to go to your target or target range of universities. Okay, so quite often many of our students will continue with their English studies for the whole year that they're here. And the idea is that they will be taking an English test as part of their university application program. So it's designed to prepare them to take and succeed in that test to make sure they secure their place. But also we know for our international students who don't speak English as their first language, one of the key things in terms of academic success and in terms of that moving on to a university is to have the best possible level of English. The higher the English, ultimately the higher the level of grade you're going to be achieving on that course. Abbey College Manchester is slightly different. It has the standard foundation program, but it also, so obviously with related subjects for a business course, for an engineering course, but it also offers the option to actually combine modules from different pathways to almost build your own foundation program, which a number of students every year will do. So that also, again, gives a little bit more flexibility. If there's a course at university that you really want to study, but you think the foundation modules don't quite sit, or it's across two foundation programs, some of the modules you need to study, you can build that program at Abbey College Manchester very specifically for that target university. So what I would always say, if you're not sure about the module load, do speak to us and we can kind of help with with combining those modules together at Abbey Manchester, or advise on what the right module or what the right foundation program might be for a particular undergraduate course at university. Obviously, the slight difference when we're talking about an A-level program where it's subject-based, where you'll generally be studying 3 or 4 subjects, is obviously the foundation program is a little bit more focused. So you can see with the example I've given there, it's very focused on business, economics, accounting, and mathematics. Likewise, for an engineering program, you're going to be studying maths, physics, chemistry. Okay. Generally speaking, a subject like business will still have quite a wide range of undergraduate applications. But obviously, if you're studying something like computer science and mathematics, it's going to be very focused on that particular subject area. So do bear that in mind. And again, speak to us because we have students who study on our humanities program or our business program who go into law. So it's possible from both of those programs. You may think you need to study a humanities sort of focused out foundation to go into law, but you don't. There is progression from a wider range of foundation programs. Okay, so assessment, when I talk about the modular structure where you have your modules in term 1, repeat them to a high level of complexity term 2, and repeat them in a higher level of complexity to term 3, it also means that the assessment is modular. Okay, when you talk about a program like an A-level program, we talk about linear assessment, which means essentially you do your 2 years of study and have all your exams from those 2 years at the end of the program. The foundation program, or our foundation program, is slightly different in that essentially you'll have 3 assessment periods. So at the end of term 1, the end of term 2, the end of term 3, you'll be assessed upon the content that you've studied in each of those terms. Okay. Some pathways have practical assessment and coursework-based assessments that contribute towards the final mark as well, but essentially the majority of your work is going to be in that final assessment, written assessment that you do at the end of the 3 terms. This means that obviously as a student, you don't have to revisit content from earlier in the course right at the end, or re-revise that content. You can do your term 1 content, focus on that, sit your exams, and then put that away and move on to term 2. So it does compartmentalize the study a little bit. So if you are a student that maybe is a little bit scared of final exams and doesn't want everything riding on the end, a final exam at the end of 2 years, the foundation program works really well because you're able to take term 1, find out what your assessment is, move on to term 2, find out what your assessment is, and plan your journey and strategically kind of plan your way through the course. It also means that the assessment risk isn't all on one assessment, and also you're spreading that load of assessments across the year rather than doing everything at once. The other advantage of having this structure is you can also resit your term 1 and term 2 exams. So again, if you don't quite achieve the grade that you need to be on track to a particular university, you have to have the option to resit that paper and hopefully aim for a higher grade. And you can take the highest grade then onto your final overall score that you submit to the university. So again, it gives you a little bit more control over your destiny when you're thinking about your university application, which is, I think, a big advantage of the foundation program over a program like A levels, where you have to do everything at the end of the 2-year cycle, and then if you don't achieve the grades, then it's a problem. Foundation grading is an overall score, which is based upon the outcomes of all the 3 term assessments that you've done, and it's a percentage score. So where in A levels it's an alphabetically graded score, so from A star all the way down, A, B, C, D, E, for example. In the foundation program, you'll achieve an overall score out of 100%. Okay. And you can see there some of the grades. Overall, 40% is required for a pass, 65 to 75% for what we would consider to be a merit, and 75% plus would be considered a distinction. The important thing to remember, this is the same level of teaching and content that you would receive at an A-level program in year 13. So these grades will be considered equivalent to A-level, for example. So if you're achieving that 70, 75%, you are achieving the equivalent of A grades or B grades at A-level. Okay, so that's really important to note. Obviously, a pass mark is 40%. Results are released at the end of June and early July. Okay, so that's earlier than the A-level grades, which are released in mid-August. Okay, so that's another potential important advantage in that you get your grades a little bit earlier, and then you can send those to your universities that you're applying to a little bit earlier than the A-level students. So potentially that could be a nice little advantage that you have in that you already have your offer in the bank before the A-level students have even had their results. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about university progression. We've talked, just checking we haven't got any questions. Do feel free to ask them, they do pop up. So let's talk about a bit about progression to UK universities. Obviously, I talked about the kind of on-campus or university-based foundation programs where you have progression to that particular university that you're sitting in. Okay, so it's very much expected that you'll progress onto that university for a related course. Obviously, the difference with a foundation program like ours is because we don't have a specific formal agreement with a particular university, but we work with a wide range of universities, you do have that wider choice of progression. Okay, and the good thing is having a personal relationship with admissions tutors and the faculties in each of the universities that we work with is that we do have a good, or the universities have a good understanding of the standard of teaching we provide. They obviously assess our content every year and make decisions about kind of what undergraduate courses it's relevant to and we can progress to. And it means that they know us, they respect our students, they understand the academic standard of our students that are coming in. So it makes an Abbey DLD foundation program actually quite attractive to a wide range of top ranked universities. So you quite often think of a foundation program and you might think of a mid-ranked UK university with progression. For our students, we do give access to quite a wide range of top 20 and Russell Group universities. Okay. Another important thing to mention is students from our foundation program can also progress outside of the UK. The foundation program is recognised in a number of different countries, including places like the US. So that is an option for our students. And we do also have a foundation program in Manchester and Cambridge that can offer progression to medicine, which is incredibly rare, but also shows the quality of the teaching we're able to deliver in the fact that some medical schools will accept our foundation students as well. And you can see just a little stat there. In 2024, the most recent set of results and destinations for our foundation students, over a third of students went to a top 20 ranked UK university or a Russell Group university, and nearly half progressed to a top 50 ranked UK university. So you can see a good number. In fact, the majority of our students are progressing to what we would consider to be higher ranked UK universities. And it's a very broad assessment. Every university has a slightly different requirement. We have to negotiate those requirements for different courses every year. But you can see, broadly speaking, if you're achieving about 50% over to 60% overall score in the foundation program, you tend to be progressing to a top 100 ranked UK university. 60 to 70% you're in that field of top 50 ranked UK universities, and anything over 70%, you're probably accessing a Russell Group or a top 20 ranked UK university. And just below that stat, I've put a little indication of our average score on the foundation program for each college in 2024. Okay, so you can see this is the average of all pathways and all students. So you can see our students are well in that top 50 bracket, and probably a large number of them pushing up into the top 20 or the Russell Group bracket as well. Obviously, we don't push our students towards a particular university based on rankings. We allow our students to make decisions about where they want to study, and we support and counsel them to choose the right university for them, the right course for them, which is different for every single student and a big part of the work we do. not having a particular partnership with university is to educate our students on which universities there are in the UK, what they're like, the difference in characteristics between a big city university and a smaller town university, the different departments and faculties, the different areas of strengths and weaknesses in particular universities. So we allow them to make an informed decision, and we support them to then apply and be successful in that application. Okay. So you can see here just an example of some of the recent destinations for our students. You can see a number of Russell Group universities in there, some top ranked London universities in there as well. So again, this backs up the quality of our program, the quality of the students we're able to provide to those higher ranking UK universities, and why they favour our foundation program, which is great. And also why we don't limit our students to one or two partner universities. We want them to have the broadest choice possible. One of the questions I sometimes get answered when I'm talking about a foundation program is, can I take a foundation program and go to Oxford or Cambridge or maybe London School of Economics? Unfortunately, the answer is no. And that is the same with pretty much any foundation program, unless it's a specific foundation program that's delivered in that university, which is not really a foundation program in the sense that I'm talking about here. It's more of a preparation program, a pre-undergraduate program in that university, which will have much higher entry requirements and specifications will be much more competitive. So unfortunately, if you do hear a foundation provider telling you they can get you into Oxford or Cambridge or for a one-year foundation program, chances are they're probably lying to you, I'm afraid. But what we're proud of is the fact that our students can get progression to a wide range of UK universities. And many of these universities, including sort of places like St Andrews and Lancaster, are ranked in the top 10, or at least very close to the top 10 of UK universities. Okay, so I just wanted to talk very briefly about some of the specialist university progression. We're getting very close to the end of the presentation. I know I said half an hour, I might overrun by a few minutes, but I did start a few minutes late. So I wanted to talk very briefly about the medicine preparation program, because this is quite unique. And you might be a student or have students who are interested in medicine. If students want to come directly onto our medicine program, they do need to have completed a certain level of biology study, and they do need to tick some certain boxes in terms of their academic English requirements before they come and study with us. But provided those criteria are met and they're the right fit, they can come into it as a direct student, or they can move from an A-level program at another college onto it as well. And our foundation program, this is one of the exceptions to the rule in terms of our foundation program, is that we do partner quite closely with a number of medical schools on this as well. So we do have a closer relationship to offer sort of progression, or at least kind of a guaranteed interview at a medical school based upon achieving a certain criteria on our foundation program, and obviously having that sort of pre-arranged kind of educational background that we can evidence. So medicine is a possibility from our foundation program, definitely something to bear in mind. And also we have relationships with in London with the Istituto Marangoni, which is one of the top fashion colleges in the world, to move on to their fashion programs in London or in their home campus of Milan, from our fashion management foundation program as well. Again, slightly different in that we've negotiated that, but again, from fashion management, you don't have to go there. It's just an option. And obviously a lot of students will take that up because obviously it's highly prestigious institution in terms of the fashion courses and the fashion management courses that they have there. Okay, so to summarize, we've talked a little bit about the IFP, we've talked a little bit about the structure, we've talked a little bit about the progression. What would I say are the main advantages of studying an IFP? And again, this is something to do your homework, compare it, contrast against other foundation programs, the on-campus programs. But I think these are the strengths of when you come and study a foundation program in our colleges, what you'll get. The modular structure, which again, I've said breaks up learning into more manageable chunks. So if you are a bit scared of having that big pressure, final exam pressure, the foundation program is a great option for you because you have three assessments. You can very much check your progress. You can be strategic about your resets for the first two programs to make sure you get the absolute top grade. You have the same high quality teachers. So the teachers on our foundation programs aren't a different group of teachers from the A-level teachers. They are exactly the same, and they are teaching the same level of academic content that you would receive in year 13 of A-level. Okay. It's not just an English language program and with a little bit of academics. It is a very serious and high level academic program where you will be taking content that is akin to the A-level program as well. So it prepares you very well for that undergraduate program later. The flexibility, certainly flexibility in terms of module choice in Manchester, the flexibility of programs we have, and the flexibility of assessment is a big advantage. The early results advantage, which I talked about, it is an advantage in that you have your results in the bank well before the other students who you're competing against for those more competitive universities. So you can take those to your universities, and provided you're with it, you've met the offer, you will have your place guaranteed well before those other students have their A-level results or their academic results at all. The wide range of university progression options. So we've talked about some of the progression options, and do look on our website. Do ask us, because we can give you more data in terms of the wider range and over a number of years where our students have progressed to. So you can see if there's a particular university that you're interested in, the progression and some of the arrangements that we have with that university. So do ask us those questions, because we want to make sure that it's the right university progression sort of profile for you. But also, you have 5 choices, so you can select 5 high quality universities and progress to those or progress to at least one of those, or get offers from those universities on the foundation program. I would say the environment that you're going to have in this school, we are a school, we do have an incredibly strong pastoral system, incredibly strong pastoral care, which I don't think you would probably get in an on-campus environment. They just can't provide the level of pastoral support, the level of enrichment, the level of extracurricular activities that you're going to get in a school like this. So coming into the UK for the first time, going straight into kind of campus environment might be a struggle for some students. Some students may thrive with it, love it, and be exactly what they want, especially the older students. But this does provide a much more nurturing and supportive environment. It is a school environment. As I say, we do have younger students who come and study with us. So we do have that kind of level of care, which I don't think that some of the on-campus providers can provide, or the university providers can provide, understandably, from their side of things. The English language support, which is included, which is to a high standard. So you will have numerous English language lessons alongside your academic subjects every week, which is designed, again, very specifically to help you to achieve the English level that you would need for that target or range of target universities. And then the extracurricular clubs, which I've talked a little bit about. And the last thing I think as well is, as a group of colleges, we are very focused on international students. So we're very used to having students come and study with us for a year, 2 years, with that goal of a place at a top ranked UK university. So we have a really, really structured plan in terms of how we support the students to make sure that they're getting their applications in on time, they're taking the right steps, developing the right knowledge, developing the right skills to make them a more attractive candidate for those more competitive universities. Each one of our students is assigned with a personal tutor that they meet with every day, but they also have a UCAS, or a university admissions advisor, who counsels them regularly and supports them with things like their personal statement, but also making the application, providing the right references, and talks them and takes them through step by step that university application process. So nothing is left to chance with our university application process, and each student will receive that on a one-to-one, on a personalized level. It won't be part of a group. They will have their own assigned person who will help them through that university application program. And we do a lot of extra knowledge building around the academic program as well. Lectures in the evening, trips and activities. We bring in universities to speak to our students. We're very lucky that a number of the universities will come in and talk to our students and educate them about the different application process and what they can study. But we'll also arrange visits to top universities. Obviously, being in London, you have access to a wide range of top London universities on your doorstep, and we make sure that we're taking students to those universities regularly. But likewise, in the other 2 colleges, Manchester and Cambridge, again, have a wide range of universities which we work with. Okay, so that is the end of my little presentation. I see I've got a couple of questions, which I'll come to very shortly, so I can answer them in real time, but I did see them pop up. I just wanted to flag as well, obviously, this was a foundation program talking broadly across our group. We do have more webinars and online events which you can sign up to, and hopefully on the screen there you can see a couple of the next ones. We have a virtual tour of our London college, which is taking place next Thursday, and then in June, early June, we also have a virtual open morning for our Manchester college. So if you do want to, you can scan the QR codes there, and that should take you to the registration page, so you can sign up straight away. If not, I've put a link onto our website there where we have the whole range of upcoming webinars across all three colleges and the group. And also you can view some of the old webinars, some of the older webinars that have already run. So we have webinars that are introduced in the UK education system, webinars that are talking about the university application process. So you can watch those and get a bit more information from them as well. If you can't view any of the webinars in the format, please do let us know. We can send you the recordings as files as well for you to share and to use. Okay, I'm going to go to the questions. Please do fire any more questions you have. So let me just see. So we've got Fatima hers. How is the diversity there, especially in the Manchester campus? I would say each of our colleges are internationally focused. So Manchester, from the point of view of domestic or British students versus international students, about 60% of the students in Manchester are international students, and around about 40% are local British students. So that's one or two. Within each of the colleges itself, we usually have around about 40 different nationalities studying with us at any one time. So our international cohort is built up of students from around the world from 40 different nationalities. That includes students from Southeast Asia, mainland China, Middle Asia, places like Iran, places like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. We have quite a lot of more students coming from the Gulf states. We have students from Africa, students from Europe, and a few students from Latin and North America. So we're quite diverse, but certainly in Manchester is the highest proportion of British students. So about 40% of the students will be British students. So there's a nice mix between international students and British students. And Manchester is our smallest college as well. So there's about 200 students there. Okay, so I hope I've answered that. I've put answered live. Do they have extracurriculars tailored for engineering students? Yes, 100%. We have the engineering, obviously, foundation program across all three of our colleges. And alongside that, we do have extracurricular clubs and activities, which are engineering focused. So they can get some practical experience. They can develop little projects. They can learn more about different engineering disciplines. And part of our university preparation programs that we put in place in all three colleges will be designed to help them build up their engineering knowledge and make a decision about which discipline of engineering they might want to study in, because there's such a wide range. Do I want to be an electrical engineer? Do I want to be an electronic engineer? Do I want to be a mechanical engineer? Do I want to be a chemical engineer? Do I want to be an aerospace engineer? So it's really important that we educate students about the different engineering disciplines and help them make the right decision as to the undergraduate program they want to do. So yes, we do that through the extracurricular program, through our clubs and activities, but also through our formal kind of university preparation. They'll be exposed to a lot of different engineering focused content alongside the course. And Fatima's also asked if there's scholarships available. Yes, we do offer scholarships for students, for talented students who want to study with us. So the first stage of that process is to make an application. So I'm not sure if you already applied, Fatima, but if you've applied to study with us as part of the application program, when you're speaking to our admissions tutors, just say that you would like to be considered for a scholarship, and there is a process to be assessed for that scholarship. So yes, there is the answer. Okay, anyone else have any questions? Please do let me know. Otherwise, I'll let you go and sign off. Okay, I don't think I'm having any questions coming through, but do feel free to ask me afterwards. We'll drop you an email. We'll be in touch. So do feel free to ask any questions. We're very happy to answer them. Very happy to arrange calls, whatever you need to get the information you need. It's a big decision coming to the UK and to study here. So we really want to make sure that we're giving you everything you need and you feel completely confident about your choice. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. I hope that was useful, and hopefully we'll see you soon. And